So we are here today on the Elite Physique Training Podcast to chat with Michelle Mensah, mostly about her prep for the Arnold's US and UK. So you're, I think, 8 weeks and 10 weeks out at the moment as we're recording this podcast. Obviously, it's got to be even closer, really. So how are things going right now? How's your mindset? Are you good, etc.?
Well, I'm actually feeling pretty chilled. I know there's a lot to think about. There's a lot I have to do. But I tend to take every day as it comes, as long as I tick those boxes. And the main thing for me is just exhausting my capabilities every day, in no matter what I do.
So what are the boxes? What are the boxes right now that you're ticking?
So the boxes is, actually, I am prioritizing recovery right now. And it's working really well. So less is more, less is more.
Can you tell us more about that? 'Cause I saw you post something on Instagram about it.
Yeah.
I think you're training less.
Yes.
But you've seen a bigger drop-off in body weight somehow.
Yes. So I decided to get extra sleep. Before I was getting approximately around 7 hours sleep. Now I'm getting 8 to 9 hours sleep. It does mean I am waking up more focused. I've noticed as well, my body has more time to, I guess, metabolize and reset itself for the next day. I'm also less sore as well. And that means that when I do go to my sessions, it's not focused on whether I can get through it because I'm sore. It's now like I can get through it because I'm not as sore as I previously was. Which means I do more, which means I exert more and burn more, which is where you want to be.
So what does a typical day look like? Because I was snooping your page.
Yeah.
And I think you said you've gone down to 4 days training.
Yes.
And 4 days gymnastics.
Yes.
But then that's 8 days.
It is. That means... Yes.
Find a day.
I love it. Okay, you went to math school clearly, but no. So some days I do double up. So I will do, let's say, less weights, and knowing that I'm going to be going gymnastics later on, and also some body parts coincide with each other. So I will necessarily not do biceps in my workout because I will use my biceps when I do my skills. So I've sat down and really looked at where am I utilizing certain body parts in gymnastics, and I will not double up in the gym, which means my workouts are very short and to the point.
So do you program your own training, or do you have someone do that for you in terms of like in the gym?
So I train with someone in the gym, but my coach, Louise, who does my prep, she's pretty much said to me, I know what I'm doing. So we have like rough guidelines as to where I need to stay, but for the most part, I'm in the gym doing my thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your priority in terms of what you need to bring different to your last shows to the Arnold's in order to, I guess, take the win? Because obviously nobody suffers and diets and trains and does all this to not win. So what are you doing this time? What are you trying to focus on? What will take you that win? And I think it's 25k, isn't it?
Well, yeah, for the US. We don't know what the UK one is yet.
Wait, so does that mean if you win, we all get drinks?
Yeah, why not? What kind of drinks? Do you want a coffee? Hey, I'll buy you a coffee. Let's go Starbucks, everyone.
Also champagne.
You want okay, yeah, champagne. Yeah, that'll have to be after both shows. Because remember, I have to come back on a plane, dieted.
So yeah, sorry, back to the question. What is the priority this season, these two shows?
My priority is my routine. Coming in, making sure I absolutely cover all the mandatories. There are mandatories, everyone. I think I've mentioned this millions of times now. So making sure I have those strength moves in, it's smooth, that my endurance is high to the end of the routine, because that's what they want in fitness, to show how fit you are. And also covering the mandatories, which is a straddle hold, we have side split, we have side kicks, and press-ups of any kind. So instead of putting in empty moves, I've decided to do a routine that pretty much covers that throughout. So it's really looking at my skill set and playing onto my strengths. So that's what I'm doing this time, and coming in different to what I've done previously. So.
Because for those that don't know, so women's fitness, it's like what, 80% routine, 20% physique?
70.
70-30. So obviously, was it the Vancouver that you technically were first in physique?
Yes.
Yeah. So really, physique's not the issue really that's kind of been holding you back, has it? Yeah. So I suppose it would be easy for a lot of people in your situation just to kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit on the physique side of things.
Yes.
How do you kind of deal with that mentally? If you still kind of got that mindset where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to bring my best physique ever, while still trying to, you know, improve on those other areas, in terms of, you know, the gymnastics side of things.
Yeah.
How does that kind of play? How did that play about with you mentally last time, and how's it impacted training now? Do you spend more time doing the things that, you know, that you were knocked down on before?
Well, I love solving problems or puzzles. I've been like this from a child. So I said to myself, you know what? Okay, my physique I don't need to worry about, but at the same time I still need to look a certain way. I still need to come in conditioned, and I still need to look proportionate. So I don't want to go too ham, you know, in gymnastics, and I don't come in looking the way I used to in my physique round. So the aim is to always improve both. And there's always something you can do, even if you do win. For example, I won the physique round. I can still improve. I can still improve my conditioning. I can still, you know, look at myself and improve, you know, tweak and do certain things. So I decided to combine the two, as you do, and I love a challenge. So I decided that if I am going to do this, I want to come in lighter for these competitions, because I realized from looking at previous competitions and analyzing myself, every time I went on stage a bit lighter and didn't compromise muscle per se, I became more energetic, and my feedback was, you were energized. My last feedback, actually, comparing to my first, which was, you look tired towards the last 10, 20 seconds, was, you were full of energy. We weren't even sure when you're going to stop. So I was like, okay, we hit the nail on the head now. And I was 7 kg lighter at Vancouver than I was at Olympia, 222. I actually went to Olympia on 69 kg. That's pretty hefty. And Vancouver, I was sitting on 63. So I downsized, but tried to downsize in a relatively slow way so that I kept my fullness, I kept my proportions as well. So we achieved that. So this time around, I am looking to be around 4 kg. I think that's like 8 to 10 pounds lighter. And that will mean I will, be conditioned, I should hope so, if I'm lighter. But inevitably, I will be light enough to carry out the skills that I would like to carry out in my routine.
So obviously a lot of people that listen to this podcast would be very interested in how you're losing that weight, how you're getting into that level of conditioning, while still obviously having the energy as well at the same time to practice the routines and gymnastic skills that you need to. So let's kind of dive into your prep, what your prep looks like.
Yes.
So obviously, you know, right now we're 8 and 10 weeks out.
Yes.
How long have you been, I suppose, dieting for in that technical kind of prep phase for at this point?
I've been dieting, so we're 8 weeks out, 7 weeks prior. I started my prep, so 15 weeks out. And
then so far, what have you managed to kind of lose within that period of time?
So I managed to lose 76.5. I'm now sitting at 66, so 10.5 kg.
So then what did you actually do during that period of time? That's probably what a lot of people are interested in. What did you do during that period of time to you know, drop your body fat down without losing any muscle, without losing any performance during that period?
So we prayed it again quite strategically, and we realized from previous preps, that's why I always say it's good to analyze your previous preps and see what actually worked. Carb cycling works really well for me. So I don't actually eliminate carbs completely. I can't, because I just won't function in my routine. You don't want to do a somersault with no carbs. You just faint in the air. So what I do is I have most of my carbs around my workouts that I do. I also realize that my body will burn more if I have, let's say, meat and veg before bed rather than having carbs. and making sure that all my carbs are around my workout, and it can be quite a bit of carbs, to get me through. And that means I'll burn more as well. And so I have low days, which is on my weight days, I should say. If I have weights and gymnastics, then it's a higher carb day. So I have that 4 days a week, and 3 days is lower carbs.
So is it right to say your priority is the gymnastics, which you mentioned, which
Yes.
is why all the food is going around there? Where
Yes.
in my head, logically, I would probably program the higher food days around training, but that's just because of
Yeah.
obviously my physique goals and
Yes.
most
Yes.
of the the bodybuilding world.
Yes.
The physique round, I guess, counts as a lot more than yours. So
Yeah.
when you put it, when I actually lay it out, it makes sense already.
Yeah. So because, okay, when you do this category, it is a shock to the system at the beginning. And I was like, I need energy everywhere. But your body gets used to it, and my body has, to the point where I could train weights fasted easily without anything. But I cannot do that with gymnastics. And I worked out that it does burn double the amount than when I do weights.
So people normally want to know numbers. They always want to know randomly, like how much cardio are you doing?
Yeah.
But I'm going to start with how much or how low are your carbs is normally a good point on your low days, and how high are they on a high day?
On a high day, so my high day could go up to 272. Low day, I think, is 119 or so grams.
And to predict based on past
Yeah.
preps, how high or how low do they go?
So this is actually, this prep is the lowest I'm going to go.
So you're not getting any lower? You don't plan
No,
to?
as in I might go lower, yes. But this prep, I will go lower than my previous.
Okay.
Yes, I will do. Because my body's used to it now. So the whole point before was to not completely shock my system where I shut down and don't want to do this anymore. So we've slowly been conditioning myself to do more, I should say, with less carbs. But we realized that I need carbs to function as well. I'm known as the carb queen, apparently. I've been like this from a child. I also have lower setting glucose levels. So I always say to people their diet should reflect them. So I can get in a state where I can pass out, and I have, if I do not get any carbs or glucose in to my body. Another fact about me is they thought I could have been diabetic at one point, but I'm pretty much the opposite of that. If that makes sense. So, which is fine. So all I need to do is make sure that I have my carbs around my workout, and then I'm set to go. And then at night, as I said, I just have a simple, veg and meat meal, and then, go to bed.
So basically, your body's very sensitive to carbohydrates,
Yes.
insulin, etc.
Exactly.
Which obviously for a lot of people, normally to get to that level, you'd have to have a good amount of muscle mass, etc. To kind of have that high insulin sensitivity.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind us going into kind of the subject really.
Yeah.
We've spoken before, you and I, behind closed doors about natural versus non-natural competitors, etc.
Yes.
Now, you actually, from a very early age, found that you've got very good genetics.
Yes.
For building muscle, for performance, etc.
Yeah.
You've credited your abs, that you have now,
Yeah.
not to sit-ups, crunches, etc., but simply, just growing up doing gymnastics, etc.
Yes, yeah.
Would you mind kind of chatting about kind of, I suppose, the ups and downs maybe to your genetics, maybe some of kind of the history
Yes.
behind things,
Yes.
just so we can kind of get a bit of an insight into that, because I think that's really an interesting area for a lot of people, just understanding, yes, you do all these things, and you train like this, you do this, you eat like this, but there's a big genetic component to this as well, and why you've been able to achieve so much in such a short period of time as well, which, let's be honest, would annoy a lot of people.
Yeah, fair enough. But it didn't exactly happen overnight. As I've mentioned, previously, that I've been training since the age of 8 years old, competitively, is the key word here. I've been in, you can call it 4 disciplines, to very high standards. So gymnastics being the first, Then I did cheerleading as well. I also did acrobatics for a short stint on the national squad, well, pre-prep national squad. And then after that, I did ballet. And then I did bodybuilding. So I actually started bodybuilding at the age of 30. Yeah.
So what kind of drove you to bodybuilding and away from all these other things?
To be fair, I hadn't actually gone to the gym until the age of 30. I got my membership January 2018.
I've been in the gym since I was 16,
Yeah.
And I still look like this. A long way to go.
I got my membership to Gym Box. I remember coming back for my 30th birthday. I said, something needs to be popping off in my life. I didn't know it was going to be muscle, but, added the gym membership to my life, joined Gym Box. For 4 months, I didn't even touch a weight. I looked in and went, I'm not doing that. I went to all these fun classes. I was like, I'm just going to go to these classes. They got circus, inverted handstand, handstand in the dark. I was like, great. So I did that.
Sorry, handstand in the dark. What is that? Tell me quickly.
I think they shut the lights off and you have to feel your senses.
Was this gym in like Soho or something?
Yeah, it was. Holborn. How did you guess? So I did that for 4 months. To be fair. But at that time, I was modeling. I've been modeling for years and years and years. And someone came up to me and said, have you ever added fitness to your portfolio? I was like, no. Don't be ridiculous. So I did beauty. So I was very known at the time for beauty and editorial work. I was very slim, so I could bend myself into a little doll and stuff. So, they like that. So I thought, okay. So I actually went to a fitness photo shoot to build a portfolio. So I didn't have any shots. And I got talking to that photographer, and they just talked about bodybuilding and stuff. They didn't push me into any direction. And they went, oh, have you thought about this sort of thing? And I went, no. Anyways, walked off from that shoot. And went to the gym in Haringey, Legends. I got invited. So I thought, okay, I'll go there. Went there and I met a guy there called Billy Femi Rose. He was a pro at the time.
I know you talk about.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, you thought about competing in bikini? I went, okay. And then I saw what he did and I thought, well, that looked quite challenging. Okay, interesting. Again, was like, I don't know. So it wasn't until my friend invited me to her gym. This all happened in a week, by the way. So I think everyone's trying to get me into the gym. So I was like, okay. And she's like, come and do some weights. I was like, okay, I should, because I got this membership at Gym Box and I'm not even utilizing it to this max. So I went there and it frustrated me so much. I couldn't even, the leg press had no weights on it. I struggled. I was so out of breath. I was like, this is terrible. But I think that frustration clicked something in my head. So I went back to the photographer and I said, because he said, oh, he knows coaches. And then that night I had a coach, which was history.
So then from there, what was your first show? Because you just mentioned bikini. Did you do a bikini show or did you just go straight into fitness?
So I did do fitness modeling previously. And
on stage,
yes.
Competing, yeah.
Yes. And I did enter bikini and they said to go into the next category.
Makes sense.
Yes. So that's what I did. And then in 2021, so then I decided I need to build muscle. In fact, they said to me I could be competitive in figure, but I need legs. My upper body looks like it will be there, but it's just the legs. So I decided to not train upper body for a whole year, and I just trained legs. I came out of that proportionate. Then we started to introduce back slowly upper body, but making sure that I didn't stay out proportions. And now I have I've reduced because I've, I'm gone above the weight. I'm supposed, not above the weight, but above, I could go above the category that I'm in. I reduced down the volume, but at that time I got a regular program, I should say, which was nice, And then that's when I decided to go for IFBB.
And when did you get that?
My IFBB...
Your pro card?
221. October 2021. Arnold's UK. The first ever Arnold's UK.
If I'm correct, you called me a maths teacher not long ago.
Yeah.
You started lifting in 2019. You
2018.
joined the gym. 2018. You joined the gym, didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And turned pro.
Yeah.
In 2021.
Yeah.
And you was on the Olympia stage in 2021.
222.
2022.
Yeah.
That's a quick rise, isn't it?
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that, but we roll.
So what's next? Like, what is not the end goal, but where do you want to be in the next 3-4 years in terms of fitness and competing wise?
Miss Olympia. I'm a 0 to 100 person, so whatever I do, once it clicks, by the way, if it don't click, I'm not putting any effort into it. I'm not going to lie. I'm that type of person. But once I'm tunnel vision, that's it. You can't stop me.
So this year, the goal is obviously to win the Arnolds.
Yes.
Well, I guess to win both Arnolds because you're
Yes.
registered for both. Let's say worst case scenario, this is what I play in my head with my
Of
own
course,
shows.
yeah. I don't.
I like to
cross
have
that bridge later.
So like, I'll pencil out my calendar and I've got, this is my first show.
Yeah.
If it doesn't quite work out, I've got this as a backup. It's not the best way to do it, but it's nice to know there are options.
Yeah.
Let's say, because you can't control the variables, you can't control who's going to be there, things...
No.
Our bodies become so sensitive to change as such, especially
Yeah.
when we're so close to a show. If things didn't go to plan at both Arnolds, what would happen next? Would you carry on and find another show, or would you shut it down for the season?
No, I'll carry on and find another show until I qualify for Olympia. I put my mind at it that I want to qualify for Olympia this year. So I will go on a tour.
So, team and tour, Gareth?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it. Why not?
But at the same time, until then, I literally shut that option down. Because if I put all these options in my head, that's how I work, then I don't know if it's going to play on the fact that I might not put my full capacity in, even though I do, subconsciously. So subconsciously, and my mum studied psychology, by the way, so she always told me, you don't put those thoughts in your head. You cross that bridge after the fact. And yes, there's always options. She always told me that, but you don't put that in your head. You focus on that goal. Obviously, if that goal doesn't happen, then you go to, plan B. So that's what I've always done. Now, in the meantime, though, she said you always have parallels. This word, and then I asked her, what is a parallel? But anyways. So I decided, okay, you have to save for that opportunity because touring means money. So that's been done. So if I do need to do that, that savings in there, and I guess if I don't, then we'll go on a holiday after Olympia. I don't, that's life.
So, obviously, prepping for some of the biggest shows on earth.
Yeah.
It's a big, obviously, mental stress, physical stress, etc. I think most people would ask, what does your average day look like? Like, people probably are listening to this or watching this and just assume, does she work? What does she do? Does she have kids? What does the average day look like in your life? What do you do?
I am a mom. So my daughter is actually an athlete. She is, currently third in the UK in her age group in power tumbling.
Genetics.
I think she's crazier than me. I'm literally looking at her like, what are you doing? She's looking at me like, I'm like, oh. But and then my mom says, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Is it? That's what I was saying. Yeah. So I do that. So managing an athlete, I have to say I do have a huge support network, which I'm very grateful for. So her dad helps, and so does my mom a lot. But in the week, I still have to, do my duties. So we just come up with a schedule. It's very regimented, I have to say. I don't have time for TV. I don't watch TV, guys. Sorry. But if I stick to the schedule, it works for both of us. And it means that, she gets what she needs, and I get, my training, and I do work. In fact, up until quite recently, I worked 7 days a week. Yeah. Because I thought, I'm in the gym, so I must work.
Is that also, because obviously we know you obviously because you online coach for elite physique training, etc. So we know about your background anyway. But is part of that also because you don't like to stop?
Yes.
Yeah, you like to always have something to do, something to go to, something to keep your mind active, etc. You know, a schedule to stick to. So if someone was to throw at you a schedule where you've got a free day, that'd be bad for you.
Yeah, I go wild. I can't stay at home. I used to deny this. I'd be like, no, I can sit still. And then one day I sat there, because I literally made myself a day off, and I thought, what am I kidding myself? I ended up spring cleaning the whole house. I mean, I went in every cupboard, and that took like 3 hours. And then I was like, so what am I doing for the rest of the day? So then I ended up going to the gym. So I was like, I can't sit still. So that's why I decided, you know what? You can't do that. So why won't you just cut down your days and sleep more? So that way I'm not up fidgeting. So that's what I did. And that works well because it means that I'm forever busy, but I can be busy in my sleep. That makes sense. No?
Yeah, I'm not sure. So what does your actual day look like though? So I know most bodybuilders have tons of cardio and this, that and the other. You've told us you lost, I think, 8 kilos already in the 7 week starting. Are you doing cardio or maybe you're getting a lot of expenditure from your gymnastics? I'm not sure how you've like structured your fat loss so far.
My fat loss is usually due to me, carb cycling. Having those high and low days does play a significant role in what I look like. And gymnastics is my cardio. So the cardio that you normally do on a treadmill, I can't even ever say that word, elliptical. Elliptical. Cross-trader, treadmill, skipping, wherever you do, is my gymnastics. And it is known that gymnastics can burn double the amount of calories.
But if you're only doing 4 times a week, so I'm just comparing to what I do. So I've seen myself do 2 hours cardio on a Stairmaster, and I know that is brutal.
Yes.
Maybe I should just do gymnastics?
Yeah, why not? Are you gonna, me too. Come to gymnastics.
You've seen me stretch. It's not very free.
I bet if you did one handstand, you'd be like, whoa.
Definitely not. So literally no cardio, no direct cardio, just your carb cycling.
Yeah.
So when because obviously you're online coach and you have fitness girls on your books.
Yes.
Is that how you structure their training plans and diets and output?
It depends. In the beginning, I did have cardio. But it depends on how much they are in gymnastics. This is the key here. So I actually do around, we calculated around 10 hours a week in gymnastics. That's a big output. And if you're burning double the amount than to do the average cardio, I don't necessarily need to add any more. We also got to look at other variables, like when I'm working, I exert a lot. I'm walking up and down, I'm putting weights, on machines. At gymnastics, I'm getting in and out of equipment. So these are all the factors I take into consideration. And I also walk everywhere.
So you touched on picking up weights and moving mats. But obviously I know what you do, but everyone else doesn't know what you actually do with the job. So, tell us.
You know me, I'm a busybody, do a lot. So first and foremost, I'm a personal trainer. I also do online coaching. So
shameless plug.
Yeah.
It's not shameless.
Yeah. I do online coaching. Actually, that's helped me to focus on recovery. So, I'm forever grateful for that. And I also do modeling, some acting sometimes, but that is flexible depending on if I have time or energy to do it. And I also do gymnastics coaching as well. But again, that's flexible. So in fact, all my jobs are flexible so that I can get my training in and focus on my bodybuilding career.
I think that's kind of the moral of the story really here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's getting everyone to understand how actually focused you are on achieving that, very specific goal, isn't it? How regimented your days are.
Yes.
Some people would say that's obsessive. But let's be honest, if you want to get somewhere, you've got to be obsessive about that. And, credit to you and how far you've got in such a short period of time. And I know we take the mickey out of, some people would be annoyed how quickly you've done it in. But that, again, is down to how kind of specific you've kind of focused all your energy really in towards achieving that goal. I think it'd probably be a good time to kind of finish this podcast for today.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have you on again soon. Well, we're going to do another podcast as coaches on a very specific topic after this one. So make sure after watching this one that, if it's obviously out yet, you go and watch the next one.
Yeah.
But before you go,
Yep.
make sure you subscribe if you're on YouTube. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating and find us all on our own personal Instagrams as well as the team Instagram at Elite Physique Training.
Yes. So thank you for having me on.